And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. And as you know, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys.
Those guys.
This is where we talk about everything in the world of drones and promote the usage of drones. And we hope you have been able to get out and fly your drones wherever you are. If the weather's been nice where you are and you've been able to get out and fly, please let me know how the weather is by you. It is a little rainy here today in New York, but it's been pretty decent the last few days. But the last week or so, I was on vacation, and I was in weather that was ideal for flying a drone. But I can tell you some of the issues that I did run into, which makes for a very interesting story. But Lawrence, how are you doing?
I am good, man. I'm good to go. I haven't done any flying, but I've got a lot of editing done. I got a lot of photo work done. I've been on this tilt shift kick all of a sudden.
The tilt shift thing, I like to call it the like the tiny town effect.
Yeah.
The Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, for those of you who remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
I'm doing good, but
for those of you who don't, okay.
I'm doing good, but I want to know, how was that cruise? Because all you kept saying when you came back was, if you've never taken a cruise, you have to take a cruise.
Well, there's some people who have their thing about the cruise, and there's some people who have their thing against it. And I was one of those people who had issues against it, and for the reasons that I had against it was one of the reasons why, which is still on my list of things against the cruise. And
right.
And I'm going to dismiss a couple of things about the cruise ship that a lot of people don't seem to understand. That they talk about that whole 3 football fields long.
Yeah,
it only feels like it's a tennis court, bro. Don't be all of them people on it. Anyhow, and also the myth about having a lot of food on the cruise ship.
Yeah,
it's a lot of food, but it's a lot of the same food, and that's if you're in the general dining area, you know what I mean?
right.
And if you go to the restaurants and there, things vary from there, but it doesn't get wild until you get like those drink packages where you can lose your mind.
Did you have the drink package? When he says drink package, he means drink package ultimate.
Did I have the drink package? No, they had like they told me there was an upgrade where you could drink the premium.
East Coast says, what cruise did you go on and what ship?
Norwegian.
Norwegian. See.
The premium alcohol. So I was like, really? No problem. Sign me up for that. But it was all right. It was fun. But it is. They are big ships, and the issue is that I always thought that I would have with it is the same issue that I did have, which is the fact that if the water does get a little messy, in the front and in the back of the ship is where you're going to feel it the most. And guess who happened to have their room right in the front underneath the bridge?
Well, see, depending on the ship design, I do know that that could be hazardous. Like you were in the front of the ship. Yeah. Of course, that particular control tower was in the front. Some ships are semi-back in the middle or a third of the way back. Well, all right. So every time the ship made a major dip, you kind of felt it.
No, you get more of the side to side movement in it.
Oh, okay. Okay, the water pushing it from side to side. I got you.
You get more of that.
All right, well, You had fun though. That's what I want to see some of the pictures you took
Well, here's the
when you
next.
get a chance. And
Here's
with
the
mine,
next. Here's the next thing about that. Now, if you guys like to fly your drones, don't sail with Norwegian because I don't. Sometimes, okay. Here's the thing. You know, they're worse than the airport. So my bag,
really,
so a camera bag, right? The camera bag gets to the uh to the check-in, where you got to go through their scanning and everything like that to get.
hmm
And here it is in my camera bag. There's the batteries
yeah,
for the Mini 3 Pro, and
right.
and the what do you call it? The controller for the
For the
what?
drone,
Yeah, for the drone. So so I have that, and they're like, okay, so what is this? I'm like, what do you mean? What is this? It's the batteries. So what is this? I was like, batteries for my camera. So what is this? I'm like, this is the other part to my camera. So
right,
like, so where's the drone? I was like, there's no drone in the bag. It just happens to be in my camera bag with my camera and the rest of my lenses.
right.
There's no drone in there. So the guy insisted there's a drone in there, and they proceed to hump my camera bag to find to
They
find
start molesting your camera bag,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, to find that there's no drone in the bag.
Wow, wow. Well, I've never gone on a cruise, but the fun that you said you had, I want to experience the bucket list. That skydiving and hang gliding. I'd like to try.
See what you
And a
do
glider,
is
though.
what you do is you put the drone in bubble plastic, right? And you put it in your suitcase. Cause that
Okay.
they don't open up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could play that disclaimer. The views and opinions heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and or in the chat. Okay, we're covered. We're covered now. So if someone goes out, one of you guys go out and do that. But hey, Herman said if I put my drone in my luggage, we're covered.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to. No, but there's other cruise lines that'll allow you to
Jody's got jokes. Jody's on a tear tonight. So you got to pay attention to the chat. He just said, Herman, what are you going to do with them paperweights behind you? Well, we still, Jody, believe it or not, we still using them for work. Those are the workhorses. Those are the workhorses. And we're going to keep on using them as workhorses until we're told we cannot use them as workhorses.
Yeah. What's
You
this?
know?
Mini Pro?
Hey, Marcel, now why would you go and waste your money on a drone like that? No, I'm joking. Congratulations, man. He said, howdy, I just got the Mini 3
Damn,
Pro. I got jokes today.
I got one of those. Come on, man.
I'm joking. It's a great
He didn't mean
drone.
it. He didn't mean it. He
It's a
didn't.
great drone.
He didn't mean it.
What do you say? I didn't mean it?
He didn't mean it. Even though the Mini 3 Pro put you on the map.
You know what? I used the Mini 3 Pro in one of our jobs.
Put the Mini 3 Pro put you on the map.
I used the Mini 3 Pro in one of our jobs because I needed one more battery, and the drone pilot that was with me was like, yo, you could use my drone. And I'm like, I don't want to. And then he's, go ahead, use it. And I used it, and I was actually impressed. The wind was blowing at about 12 miles per hour, 12 to 15 miles per hour, but it held its own. It did what it was supposed to do. It actually shot pretty good.
Blow it away.
No, stop. Canada don't care about the ban yet. Yet notice key word, Marcel, yet.
Yeah.
Because everyone's watching the United States. We're going to get into that a little later on tonight. We're biting our tongues now to keep it down until Vic gets here.
But let me tell you about this though, Lawrence. Check this out. You know, Teledyne FLIR, Defense announced that they had a deal with check this out. Canada.
Share.
Who? What? What? You want to share what? Who? What? Okay. With the Canadian Department of National Defense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're gonna supply them, right? Well, check this out. Or they're gonna sell them more than 800 of the Sky Ranger R-70s, these drones right here,
Yeah.
the UAV systems, right? So that they're gonna donate them to Ukraine eventually. Eventually.
Okay. All right. Well,
Hey, wink, wink.
wink, wink.
Eventually.
Eventually, they're going to.
Yeah, eventually.
Well, all I can say about it is if they aren't, well, Teledyne, we know who Teledyne FLIR is, right? Period.
Mhm.
We've done stories on Teledyne FLIR. For those of you who don't know who they are, they deal in arms.
Well,
And that's all I will say.
well, to be truthful, they're into camera.
Surveillance equipment.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit more deeper than you put it because
It
they do a
is.
lot of
It
the
is.
infrared, the LiDAR, and all those. Those cameras that do all those. They're very good at what they do.
Hell,
Uh,
I guess they take our phone TV washers.
huh?
Jody's in a tear tonight.
What happened to him?
You know, Jody's in a tear tonight.
Well, he's going on over there. What happened to him?
Well, he came in he came in a tear, right? And you should be in a tear because if you live in the United States and you've invested a lot of money in drones and you use your drones for business, we're going to talk about that later.
Or
We're going to talk about it later
I don't
in
know,
detail.
Lawrence. I mean, yeah, I don't want to talk about it because I'll get on a rant and it'll take away from the whole everybody else's perspective of how they feel and things that they might want to say and I don't want it to be about me.
I feel you. I get it.
But
I totally get that.
it's oogly and I told you what in our private conversation what it is today, and it's nothing you can do about it now. And now,
Right.
well, not with this, but I mean, as far as the way because everything is going that way. Bubbling, bubbling, bubbling.
Aloha, Sky Control.
Right down the drain. But Lawrence, did you see the Pennsylvania man that got convicted for using a drone to help detect or find, hunt, or whatever they called it, track or deer carcasses?
Yes, I did. Hey, Johnny Drone
Yeah,
Flyer. Yes, I did. Can I
and,
say one thing before you go on to the story?
and yeah.
I don't know whether this was entrapment or go ahead, tell the story first.
Okay. I, you know what? I just want to say to you that I saw this when I saw this article and I looked at it and I said, wow, this dude here, he got convicted of this. And but what I do like about the fact that with this story is that not only does not only is it that he was convicted of it, but he actually has some help on his side from state senate because if you check out this story here that was on Fox News, Fox 43 News.
This one here.
yeah, you would see that he actually has some help, a little help coming from his way from the state senator. And this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, play.
Deer for hunters could face jail time for using a drone. Fox 43's Marcia Keeley here to explain the state law. The Game Commission officials say he violated, why one state senator, though, is coming to the rescue.
They're fast, powerful, and useful. For years, drones have been used to capture sky-high video or conduct home inspections. Others across the country are using drones to help hunters track down wounded deer, and one Pennsylvania man is in hot water for doing just that. Downingtown resident Joshua Wingenroth runs Wingy Drone Services. On December 9th, court records show Wingenroth was operating on Welsh Mountain Nature Preserve in Lancaster County. When Pennsylvania game wardens seized his drone and issued a citation, he could face hefty fines and up to 3 months in jail. Wingenroth is the first person in Pennsylvania to be cited for using a drone in hunting, according to the State Game Commission. A spokesperson stood by the agency's actions, saying, quote, "Drones are prohibited electronic devices that cannot be used in hunting, which includes tracking. Finding a dead or wounded deer with a drone is legal in states like Ohio, where Mike Yoder's company, Drone Deer Recovery, operates."
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
Yep.
They set up a sting to catch this guy.
Yes.
They set up a sting to catch him. And and like they said in the video, there's in states like Ohio that this is legal. But you see, the thing is, what they're saying is that, and this is the argument with this, with what the usage of the drone is not to track down where the deer are or to give you an advantage at the hunt, is for when you cannot find the deer and you're going to end up letting it go to waste. Is to prevent the waste of the deer carcass.
Well, it's funny you mention that because it's all in the wording. You cannot use a drone to hunt for deer. And this, believe it or not, is how they caught him, because for the stupid reason that they called him up and said, we shot a deer and we need to find it. Okay, you're with me so far, right? And this was the government. And when he sent the drone up, another Parks Department person came up, told him land his drone, and they arrested him and confiscated the drone, and they have him for using it to hunt with. Now, he went into the story believing, he went into the job believing, and he's done several jobs before. He's helped hunters. We have to point this out. He's helped hunters find wounded deer. And like Herman said, you don't want them left out in the wild because they go to waste and things like that. But he thought he was looking for a wounded deer. He found a deer that was live. Now, here's where it gets technical, Herman, and I'll let you finish. It gets technical here because they say that because the deer was live, this is the same technique that poachers use to find live game.
Right.
And that's considered poaching. So
right, and that's what they use to try to that's what they use to convict him. But this is this what's this? I can't remember the state senator's name. Jared Coleman.
Yes.
Yeah, he's trying to change the law. Excuse me, by legislating by drafting legislation to change the law on that, because he feels that with today's technology that these deers, that some hunters may have let go to waste. He said, because if there's laws that allow dogs to be used for retrieval in hunting. And with today's technology, he said, instead of letting these animals go to waste out there, he said that you can send a drone up and find.
This is how he was doing it, and that was considered legal.
Right. It's not to track down any animals that that out there so that you know where to find them.
Well, see, this is why I wanted to ask you, isn't this entrapment? because now listen where I'm going. I know what you're going to say, but I want the people in the chat to think about this.
Well, don't ask a
He
guy.
was told the man gets hired for a job, Herman, to go out and find wounded deer. He answered a call. He went out to go look for a wounded deer. He could not find the wounded deer, but did find, thank you, B-Mac, very much. But he did find a deer that was live. Now, I just want to read this really quick. It says, since the legal definition of hunting includes tracking, hunting, and recovery, authorities said Wigenroth technically used a drone to hunt game. He was convicted on all 4 counts and fined $1,500. But wasn't he lured deer in the premise of looking for a dead animal?
Yes.
So where do you draw the line, and where is he in trouble and where is he not in trouble? I mean, obviously he's in trouble. He's been fined and they confiscated his shit. What state did this happen? In Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania. Now we also mentioned that in other states, they do allow you to use a drone to not hunt. That's wrong. To look for wounded deer. So if you wounded deer, this guy's job was, hey, I'm in so-and-so area. I shot a deer. I know he's wounded. I seen him limping. Can you help me find him? And people don't know this. I did a little research. People don't realize this, but a wounded animal gets shot, and you don't do the right thing, it will run for a quarter mile, half. I've seen some of these things go. So you don't know what direction it goes in. So this guy was doing this for a living, not for, well, I guess he did something else, but he made money doing this. But for them to actually had set up a sting, like you said, Herman, and call him on the phone, call him out his house on the phone, because he advertised, everyone know, if you wounded a deer and you can't find it, this is the man. They talk about how he used the thermal, and then he used the infrared, then switched to thermal and all of this stuff, and
they're terrible.
It's messed up.
When they want you, they can get you.
This is true. Over the stupidest of things. We got to give a shout out real quick to the people that are here. Click that like button if you haven't already. Jim's droning, Johnny Drone Flyer, Jody Drone Shots, B Max, Jersey Drone Photography, Phantom Hodges Drones. Who else is here? Bill Coast to Coast. Off Axis is here. John Olson laying back. Sky Control from Hawaii. SJM Drones East Coast. I think I got everyone. And TJ, SJM Drones and TJ Drones was here earlier also. If I missed you, I apologize. But later, if I missed them, I apologize. But it's an interesting story, because they I wonder if that's in Pennsylvania. Isn't that the same state that other drone guy is having some trouble with?
Who? What other drone?
That's the same state. Yeah, it is the same state. And so Pennsylvania seems to be cracking down, guys. Don't be surprised if they start doing it in a state near you. Huh?
What drone guy are you talking about?
I don't know. It's just I heard some shit was going down in
the
state of Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
I didn't know. I didn't know that they had any preference on who they wanted to crack down on when they was ready to crack down and put the smacketh down.
Well, listen. What my therapist bill is.
What? Your therapist bill?
Jim's droning. What? My therapist bill is here. What's tracking me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, B-Mac, I agree. Pennsylvania is trying to they're trying to out crazy Florida. Dude, you're going to hear about a lot of states tonight that are doing different things.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy going on. But you know what, Lars? Also on the cruise, I went down to the Dominican Republic, right? And I was able to pick up some cigars down.
Yeah, you said we gotta smoke a cigar. not those, but we got to smoke a cigar.
Hold on, bro. I got a lot of cigars if you want to smoke.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Corey, what's good, man?
I
How
got
are you?
Dominican cigars from New York. I got Dominican cigars from the Dominican Republic. And also I got
I'll take the Dominican cigar from New York. I don't trust that stuff out of state. I'm playing.
oh, whoa.
I'm just saying, anything over state lines, just okay. See, there we go. That's what we're supposed to have. Those are the ones that we're supposed to smoke for
No,
celebratory. No, those aren't those. The
no,
ones, those
no,
are Dominican too.
no.
Jim's droning says he loves a good cigar.
No. These are some Monte Cristos.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see why you got them in a bag separated
Yeah, I got a couple of them separate. Well, you see, you can't, move around and stuff like that with cigars like that easy. I can't be speaking these things on television.
Okay, that's a whole different live stream, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome to Wednesday night with those guys. Vic Moss is going to be on later this evening. So we're doing a Q&A. We're going to be talking about the new drone law that they're trying to pass. That's going to be the runt of the stream.
It ain't new. It's been here and it ain't going nowhere. And the one thing that I did want to get on right now was the fact that this has been a little troubling to me. Because as both state and federal officials, right, are trying to ban you were talking about it, so I'm gonna talk about it. Chinese drones, especially DJI for public service use, for public service agencies. Well, it seems like there's a police department down in Texas that that wants to keep using their DJI drones because they bought them in bulk and they want to continue to use them. And they have said that they have taken the steps that it takes to get the job done, and they're going to keep on using their DJI drones because why?
They found a loophole.
Well, yeah, the Houston police department in Pearland, Texas, if I pronounced that correctly,
right?
They say that they've taken the mitigated precautions and stages that has been advised to them to by the federal cybersecurity and infrastructure and security agency. So they've already implemented the mitigating procedures that they say that they advocate that you should use with these drones.
Right.
And they're doing what they have to do to stop the transmission of those drones, to use them in their police department because they're worried a lot about the cost that it would take to replace these drones. And I think that would be said across almost all of the police departments across the country that have already spent money on these products and have recently purchased the latest edition of these drones before this issue had come into where certain states started to act kind of funny, and then it became one state hopping on the next one and the next one. But I see that not only with if states wanted to implement something like what it was done in Arkansas, where the agency had up to, I think it was 4 years, and within that 4-year period, they could file for exemption if they could show reason why they should be able to use them or why they should continue to use the product. And I think that there's a piggyback onto something like that would be something that they can continue to do. But I don't know. I guess it's left up to the individual state. But they claimed that what was it that Austin Police Department estimate cost of replacing all of their DJI drones with what they would have to purchase now. I guess I don't know. It's up to about $120,000.
Yeah, yeah. And think about this. They also talk about, okay, say we go, we conform. We stand in line and we conform. We're going to lose so much. There's going to be such a loss in production as far as police department, search and rescue, crime scene investigation, crime scene mapping, all of this stuff, right? And training. And then on top of it, they're going to have to go and buy a more expensive drone that doesn't do the work as well as DJI drones do. I mean, more expensive, like that that drone that flies around itself, Skydio or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't give them no respect anymore.
Yeah, but this funny, it's three now. It's three police departments there in Texas that's on this because there was a poll was taken. You remember this story said the poll.
Well, see,
yeah.
See, this is smart. It's smart because they found out that if you so convinced that these drones are transmitting, if I use a third-party app to fly this drone that I know is not transmitting data and it's secured, that's a way around it.
Okay. Yes. That was interesting that they what they did, but how they did it. But that was something that was recommended by this, what is it?
Yeah.
The Cyber Security and Infrastructure Security Agency. That was their recommendation on how to use this product safely, according to them. Now, what I find is funny is because here's a product that was already vetted by them that is no longer cyber safe by them.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
So, really quick, Jim Droning said Americans could hold their meet up in Canada. I said, yeah, that's okay. I am 600 miles away. Actually, I am 2,009 right now, 2,093.9 nautical miles, 2,411.22 miles. And for you Canadians, I am 3,880.48 kilometers. New York City to the Canadian border.
Really?
So, yeah. He was saying,
it's going up there.
Listen, if I could go to Canada to fly, I wouldn't mind crossing the border to do it.
Really? Every day?
No, see, no. If I'm crossing the border every day, it better be for work. And VMAX says, what I can't understand is why most capitalist countries in the world, the USA, cannot produce a ready alternative before turning off the DJI tap or whatever. An alternative. Basically from what the police are saying in Texas, if you want to use DJI drones and they make it illegal for your business to use it, maybe this third-party app would help, right, Herman?
Maybe it would.
Well, think about it. Lychee, isn't that a third-party app?
Yeah.
That's a third-party app. You guys are familiar with Lychee, and it takes control of flying your drone.
Yeah, but my thing is, you see, where is Lychee?
I know once you leave the architecture that it was designed to run on.
No. Where is Lychee? Where is Lychee?
Let's see who makes Lychee. Let's Google that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
do you know how many apps on your phone is collecting information?
Oh yeah, I know, and that's what's so stupid about it. Who makes lychee? I'm on their site right now. I'm just going straight down to the bottom to see where they're from. VC Technology
Your
Limited.
phone, the internet doesn't listen to you. It already knows who you are because you gave him access to who you are.
Yep. When you search for things on the internet, etc.
Right. No, not that.
Oh,
When you go in all of those apps and everything like that, you give everybody access to everything. They already know who you are. You gave them access to everything.
okay, Herman. Lychee, the makers of Lychee is VC Technology Limited. They are located in the United Kingdom. So you could use that third-party app. Now, who's to say they're not broadcasting to the United Kingdom?
Well, who's to say that they who's to say that they're not broadcasting it to someplace anywhere?
True, true.
It's madness.
It is. It is. It's you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it because the way I see it, we have another 3 years before we can't fly drones anymore. So until then,
Whoa!
I'm gonna keep flying.
Damn. I don't know if it's 3 years, bro. And I don't listen.
I'm trying to be nice about it.
I,
I'm trying to be nice about it.
but I sat up last night I fell asleep because I wanted to do thumbnail with and I didn't know how it would come across to some people. But when you say that 3 years, I was saying to myself, the whole thing comes to mind about out of my cold dead hands. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it would come across well. But 3 years, no. Forget about you in your 3 years.
Oh, come on, man. Be nice about it.
I'm gonna fly forever.
Listen, until I'm told I cannot fly my drones anymore, I'm going to keep flying them until I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm enjoying it. I enjoy flying them. I make a few dollars doing it. I enjoy doing stuff like this picture behind me. So until you say I can't, and why are we worried about it anyway? I mean, unless you work in a government agency,
Mm-hmm.
why are people even worried about it?
So you know what?
Because they're going to still sell. I believe they're still going to sell DJI drones here. You know why? Because they want the taxes. They want that tax money. They make a lot of money off these DJI drones selling in the United States.
Best Buy and stuff like that. How much? Because a lot of drones, people are buying them directly from DJI, so that's
True, true. But now, why would they stop selling them? That's what I'm saying. And as long as I don't work for the government or law enforcement,
they're not even looking at it from that aspect.
I know they're going to get rid of all consumer use of drones.
There's a lot of there's a lot of ways you can look at it, and there's a lot of ways you don't want to look at it. But we'll talk about it later. But what I did want to talk to you about was the fact that many guys might want to start looking into getting into some of these community-based organizations.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that there's some in your area, or the only one that I know of that comes to mind is the AMA. And a lot of people say that, the AMA in their area stinks and they don't represent us and this, that, and the other. And I hear you. But I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying you're not going to be able to fly your drones. You're not going to be able to fly.
Right. No one knows,
I'm
but
not saying
it
that.
sure feels like it.
No. No, like I said, I tell guys to keep on flying, and as long as Lance gives you clearance,
Yep.
fly
Yep.
your
Yep. Long as you have authorization from the FAA giving you the authority to fly, do like I do. I take a screenshot every time in case the phone dies. I got a picture of it and I have the app open all the time when we're working and when we're not working.
if the phone dies, right?
Yeah.
How do you prove that you got clearance?
How do I prove I got clearance? Well, yeah, that's true. I'd need another phone, wouldn't I?
They're not going to stop pummeling you for you to be able to plug it in your car.
They're not gonna give me a chance to plug my phone in. They're like, he's got a gun, and it's a wire, a phone charger. Drone pilot tased at 10 on the news. 90%, Sky Control says 90% of cops won't even know. Even if banned, they will always be a hack to fly, just like you can still get direct TV hacked. I know nothing of these things. Once again, the views and opinions of people and or in the chat, but not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel and in the chat.
You know what's funny about that? Let's go back to Pennsylvania. You know how many people out there got that hook up with the
Direct TV?
Dish Network?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, click that like button for us if you haven't already.
That was a big thing going in Pennsylvania. The Dish Network.
Really?
Yeah. You had to get the program for the Pennsylvania local news.
Yeah.
Or else you had to watch New York local news.
Jay Aragon says, I just got my 350, my M350 and my L2 a couple of months back, and they're not taking nothing from me. Well, they're not going to take it from you. And you guys, but you have to realize if you're not working in law enforcement or government, I honestly believe you'll still be able to fly. They're just screwing the it'll trickle down eventually.
Hold on. Guys, don't listen to this dude. Everybody keeps flying your drones. You're gonna be able to fly your drones. Don't listen.
Yeah, that's what we do. I'm not saying don't fly, Herman.
Oh, you quoted 3 years. I don't know, guys. You'll be able to fly your drones. Fly your drones.
Oh, you don't believe my 3-year theory?
If you see something new come out, grab it if you want to buy it and you want to fly it. That's how I feel about it.
For real.
But you know what? When it comes time to put on a helmet and grab a gun, you make sure you're there. All right.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I hope.
Because it's only right. It's only right if you believe in something, then you should fight for it, right? Unless it's not that. It's not that unless you don't care about it that much.
Listen, everybody that comes, hey, Joseph Aponte,
how
are you? Isn't that Max there? Joseph Aponte? I mean, I could be wrong. I think that's
I'm not sure, but
I clicked the like button. For now, it's 13 likes. Thank you. We appreciate it. I just brought my Air 3. So congratulations. You did decide to get an Air 3. Congratulations. Listen, don't worry about it. Go out there and fly, guys. Go out there, get the permits that you need to fly, get the authorization you need to fly through Lance. Do whatever you have to do. Starbuck, how are you?
Fly your drones. But yeah, my thing is, here's the thing, it's how much do you care? How much do you care? And it's how much, and that'll all prove everything. How much do you really care about it? It's how much fight you put into it. And here's the thing. Because if you really care about flying your drones, you really care about protecting your drones like I do, all my drones get a hard case. You know what I'm saying to you? And if you feel like you need a hard case for your drones, I got a little thing that will save you a little couple of dollars on the taxes, but here's a little coupon code. Phantom Flight 10 for your 10% off on all your nano hard cases, from drone cases to watch cases to camera cases and gimbal
Gun
cases,
cases.
gun cases, all sorts of cases. Whatever you need, they cut custom cutouts, all kind of stuff. Check it out.
Okay, and with that, we haven't done a drop and a shot at all tonight, but
Yeah, I know, because you don't be on point with it, but you know, that's all right. I'm good. But anyhow, with that being said, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
those guys. Salute to you guys.
I don't need any more alcohol for the next 6 months.
Oh, you just got off a cruise. You take your kidneys and go like this, squeeze them like a rag. Yeah, you just got off a cruise for a week, man.
They're in my shoes already, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, damn. What are you talking? Well, Angel says he hasn't been able to fly. Same here.
Hey, fine.
No one's had a chance to fluke. Hey, Flying Flynn, how are you? Hope all is well.
Well, the
Click that
weather
like button on the way in, guys. What happened?
the weather's been kind of shaky this side of the way, right?
It has, but I've been able to squeeze in a day here, a day there. You know, just because it's cloudy out, I flew in the snow.
Yeah, I know. I bet you did.
You know, it was snowing. The park was beautiful. Nobody had ran through the park yet. Excuse me. The only one that were out there were the swans and ducks. And, you know, I burned the battery flying in the snow. I actually chose a day not to fly, and it was nice out. So in between, it would be like nice for one day, cold and windy another two, and then it would be half-assed during the night or in the morning. You could get a chance to fly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here in New York, a little water don't stop nobody.
You know, back before everything got crazy and certain places was just trying to invent their own world.
Mm-hmm.
And before inventing your own world was the thing, I was over at Fort Greene Park and it was snowing.
Yeah.
I caught a whole flight with the snow.
Yeah.
Got a few shots and everything. So got some pictures and stuff. Just playing around out there. Brought the drone down, packed the drone up, and a whole set of snow came sliding off this tree right into my face.
Wow. Straight on. Wow. You got caught out there like someone shook it.
Yeah. So then
Well,
after I packed the whole thing up and everything, one of the people from the park was like, hey. I was like, what? What's the matter? You can't do that here. I said, do what? You can't fly that here. I was like, fly what? The drone.
really?
The drone in your bag. I was like, I don't have the drone in my bag. It's like, I saw you put it in your bag. I was like, so what makes you think I was gonna fly it if you saw me put it in my bag?
Right. Idiot. Yeah, you can't with somebody. The only alcohol served on cruises, I was on the Aqua boiled down Amtrak engine. Oh, okay.
Oh,
What's up, Matt
I
Bagwell?
don't,
Hope
I don't
all
know.
is well.
I don't know where that's at, but I'm sorry.
God bless America. Good evening to you. Hope all is well.
Now,
Vic will be here in a little while. We are.
you know what I want to
We
tell
still have
you,
a little bit of time.
Lawrence? They had this little club thing going on in there, right? And
On the ship.
yeah, and it was funny as hell because they had It stayed open till about 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, last call was at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And it was like, you remember Janet Jackson with the, Rhythm Nation?
Yeah.
It's like you had gone to the rhythmless nation. I'm like, yo, oh my goodness.
So there were people in there of a certain age that used to go to clubs back when that music type of music was popular. And they were a lot younger. Brooklyn Jimmy, how are you?
I think those are the people who had more of the rhythm.
Oh, wow.
It was more of the younger people who listening to some of the crossover in the music they had there.
Okay.
If they can't jump up and down like fools, they can't dance to the music that they listen to. So anyway, go anyway. But I'm going on, but with that. But what I did want to talk about was something that you had done. Lawrence had shot and edited a video for a company, and it's funny. When they saw the video, because they gave us full discretion on when they let us post it, put it, because they want to put it on their social media, and they jumped all over it. They contacted me about it, so I wanted to share this with you guys. Lawrence
Okay.
shot
Here we go.
shot and edited this video.
That's it. It was a social media short. And I appreciate it.
They
Mariachi.
like the video.
Huh?
They
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the video on LinkedIn.
Which is I'm not surprised that they liked it, Herman. I was surprised the amount of people.
Well,
Because didn't the gentleman make that comment about the next video coming out? And we're like, but wait.
here's the thing. They have a guy with a cell phone.
And
And
Herman's being facetious and truthful at the same time, because what he means is they're actually using a guy to go around the site with a cell phone, and if the shot is up on the roof, he's got to go up on the roof and take the shot with the cell phone, and if the shot's down in the basement, he's got to go back down to the basement and take the shot, and that's just how they agreed. Hey, Warren, that's how they decided to do their work, right?
well, that's how they've been doing it for the longest.
Yeah, yeah, but
Guy with walk around with a cell phone.
right. But there's our social media clip for them. That was easy. That was the day I shot that, the day that you had to leave early because you had to be somewhere else. That's when I got that footage there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Lawrence also was coming up in San Francisco. Proposition E will be on the ballot, and Proposition E would make it a little easy, ease the way, I guess, for the police to use drones for their operations. Prop E it is supported by Mayor London. What's his name? Breed. Yeah.
Yeah, London Breed.
Breed. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Prop E. Well, like I said, Prop E will make it easy for officers well, we give them more power in the usage of surveillance, and also with their what's that? The body cams. Yeah, we give them more leeway with the. I don't know how it would change with the body cam so much, but
Right.
it also opens the door for more surveillance with the usage of drones. So they're going to be able to use drones for their surveillance. But Prop E is there's a few people who oppose it, but I'll get into what Prop E. Prop E basically provides
Hey, Gary.
For them, like I said, to ease the restrictions on how they can pursue not only in surveillance but also with such as like car chases and stuff like that. Like before, they weren't allowed to pursue someone who they knew who was getting away with a vehicle in a
Right.
vehicle unless that person had committed took a life or that such said surveillance was in the midst of harming someone else in I guess
Right. It had to be life threatening.
right. So what I didn't understand with that is that it took this long for something like that to happen. But what the police are actually looking for, and just be honest with you, and I agree with, is more something that is they're looking for more tools that are less lethal to fight crime with, and they say that the drone can actually help them in this situation. They could be able to use these drones to be able to help fight crime, and it's a good thing. But what you gonna say, Well,
Well, I was going to say that the perfect example is what in the story, how they use a SWAT team situation where they use a drone to not look for assailants or criminals, but they use a drone to look for children's toys.
Right.
You would think they would send up the drone with the thermal, but and it makes sense. They're looking for children's toys because there may be kids involved, and that will affect how they breach an area or handle that situation.
Well, Lawrence, we got Vic coming in a few seconds, but what I wanted to say but Prop E being on the ballot, it is supported by 61% of the voters in the area of San Francisco, and it is opposed by about 37% of the voters. So I guess that may be passed, and we're gonna now have Vic come to talk about what's going on with the state of this bill, HR, as we know, 2864.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Howdy. Yeah,
Good
sorry,
evening.
I've got
How are you doing?
14 different things going on here at once right now.
How are you doing this evening?
Good, how y'all?
I'm
Good.
I'm running around and everything. I'm just coming back from vacation.
Nice.
Well, I'm trying to vacation. I need a vacation from vacation.
Isn't it how it always works? That's the sign of a good vacation, though. If you need a vacation when you go back from vacation, you had a great vacation.
Agreed.
That that could be it too, but I need stuff like cucumber and stuff like that in my life right now.
Everybody almost suffered alcohol poisoning on a ship.
Ruh-roh.
Nah,
There is a lot of drinking on those ships.
there's a lot. There's a lot.
So you were on a cruise then?
Yeah, I was on a cruise.
Nice.
It was fun. It was. So how have you been?
I've been good. I've been busy. I've been really busy. But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Keeps me out of trouble for the most part. Of course, I'm in the middle of
Busy
a
is
master
good.
bathroom remodel, so its timing's not great.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's okay though. It's all good.
But we're
Busy
all,
is good though.
but we're all here to talk about this infamous this bill 2064.
2864. Yep.
Like where is it? Like where is it right now, and how is it coming at us? And where is it right now?
Where is it now? That's a really good question. For those, it's the Countering CCP Drones Act. It's not, well, I'm just gonna belay a lot of fears here. It's not going anywhere.
Oh,
GovTrack, which is it's an org or .com. I can't remember. But anyway, GovTrack gives it a 1% chance of enactment. So it's not going to happen. It's very, very, very unlikely. Um, it would literally ground or drown if you're flying over water, ground all of our drones because the FCC would revoke the license that has been granted to let our DJI and our Autel drones fly.
So you're
It's
saying
actually a DJI bill, but it's not
So
going
you're,
anywhere.
so you're saying really quick, this would trickle down even to the consumer who's not using it.
100%. Yep.
Okay.
If it's a DJI drone, mics, Ronins, anything that uses FCC licensing the license would be revoked. That doesn't mean they'd fall out of the sky. It would just mean they'd make them illegal to use.
right. They would
But
have to revoke all of the licenses.
yeah, and when you revoke a license, it doesn't mean it won't fly. It just means you're doing it illegally. So
Now,
it's not going anywhere. So I want to make sure everybody understands, and that there's a lot of fear out there, as there should be. It's not going to happen, but there's always a but at the end of these things. We really need to push hard back against it anyway, because since it's not going to happen, if somebody else down the road, another legislator down the road sees, hey, you know what, or thinks about, hey, let's do something like that, or let's do, I've got 11 state bills right here that are doing that right now. If they try and push something else, like, remember when Miss Elise Stefanik, not Miss,
Yes.
she's the congressman
yeah,
or congresswoman. I need to
Yes,
use her
that's
title
who's
to be
here
pushing
in
clear.
New York. Yes,
Yep,
here in
they're in New York,
Yes.
exactly. When Stefanik pushed this out, boy, she got an awful lot of pushback from the communities, which there have been thousands of emails and phone calls, by the way. That those other lawmakers might say, boy, those folks don't want their industry, don't want their hobby messed with. So maybe we should leave it alone. So that's why we need to push so hard right now.
Right.
There's plenty of other stuff we need to do as well. The American Security Drone Act, Warner and Thune just introduced a bill that would is sort of a good thing. Talks about cybersecurity for drones, which is what we've been pushing. But part of the cybersecurity is what they call it's been a long day. Sorry.
That's all right.
It's with supply chain ability. So that is basically Washington D.C. speak for no China stuff. Supply chain security is how they word it. So nothing coming from China, because otherwise then the supply chain isn't secure. So even the cybersecurity bill put out by Thune and Warner is an anti-Chinese, anti-DJI, anti-Autel bill. So even that's not good.
Right. But Vic, what I want to ask you is that when Stefani was pushing this bill, like what was her intentions for this bill to do? What was her idea with this?
Well, a little backstory. Originally, Brandon Carr, not the drone pilot Brandon Carr, but the former FCC chairman Brandon Carr, not the same person, just unfortunately the same name.
Right.
When he was commissioner of the FCC, or I think that was his title as commissioner, he wanted this because he's anti-China. It's all political grandstanding. And so what he did is he proposed this to Congress, or he proposed this to the White House. I can't remember which. And that didn't go anywhere. So then Stefanik took up the torch, and I think I haven't talked to her. I'm not in her mind. I think it was a look what I'm doing for the country bill. She knows it's not going anywhere. That doesn't mean she's not going to keep pushing it. I think she's pushed it 3 times.
Right.
The latest was just in the committee meeting a week ago, Thursday. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Sorry. And once Carr was gone, then she picked up the mantle and ran with it. So that's what it was. The reasoning behind it, there's no real logical reason behind it. So I'm not sure what her thought process was, other than look at me, I'm protecting America from those nasty Chinese drones. That's the only thing I can think of.
Mhm.
And that's a
Wow.
nice way to put it. I'm going to be
Wow.
very nice tonight.
That's rough because I just look at what these type of things that because this has been going on. I've been hearing about banning DJI for a little more than 3 years now.
Yep. Yep.
And let's ban DJI, let's ban DJI, let's ban DJI. And there's always something else coming after DJI. And it's because, is it DJI, is it all Chinese drones? And
It started out as anti-DJI because they are, well, what came first, chicken or the egg? DJI is mostly what it's about. Autel is thrown in there as well, but DJI is mentioned a lot, whether it's on the entities list, the DoD list, that kind of stuff, because they are, they're the 300-pound elephant in the room, right? So they have to be dealt with. I use quotation marks on the dealt with part.
right.
In order for the American drone manufacturers to compete, because let's face it, China kicks our butt. When it comes to whether it's a drone or a phone or a modem or a computer, China kicks our butt. So the American drone manufacturers said, "Hey, you know what? They're kicking our butt. Let's outlaw them." Basically, that's.
Well, you know what? I said the same thing, and no one listened to me when I said. I told that to Lawrence. I said, Lawrence, this is exactly what it is, to get down and lay down method. And you're gonna do it because all of the companies that were making consumer drones have jumped ship to do all of these government
Gone.
Yep.
and they're still producing the same drones that, like, I found, this is no jokes aside, Parrot, those Parrot drones,
The Anafi US.
they used to sell them in the Sprint store. When I was
Yep.
when I was in Sprint, they
drone.
used to sell them in the Sprint store. And if you wanted, like how they sell the speakers in the cell phone stores now, it used to be the Parrot drones and stuff like that. If you wanted to get one, that's how I first saw them.
Nice.
But when I first saw DJI, I was on my way to get a remote control car. I saw, what is that?
Oh, you saw it in the sky first.
No, I saw the guy take off with it.
Oh, coolio.
And he had his phone in it. And I was like, what is that? And when I asked him,
I want one.
when I asked him the price of it, I was like, I'm just gonna go get this a car inside here. I'm gonna drive the car.
Yep.
No, but I just want to know, like, cause I just, Lawrence and I, we're doing something that, and we're trying to, change our lives and our situations in this world in the drone community, and as far as with our families and stuff like that. How would this bill, if something like this ever passed, affect, like, not only guys that are doing this commercially, and small businesses, but the recreational guys, the guys that want to fly and just like go out to the beach, or to like off the shore somewhere, like anywhere off wherever, and get these shots that they just want to get these pictures, like sunsets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And not only just in the same old park every day. Like, how does it affect us?
That bill?
Yeah.
Or any bill?
Hmm?
That bill, the CCCP, there's too many letters. Countering CCP Drone Act.
Trying to ban this because I know it would cost me much more to do what we're doing if we couldn't use, to say, the Mavic 3 or the
There's
Classic.
nothing out there.
Because
there's nothing out there like that.
Right, because for most of the work, that's good enough for a lot of the stuff that we do.
Yep. Well, if for the hobbyists, there are options, because the countering CCC, whatever it is, that bill, that is geared towards DJI. So let's say you have a hobbyist out there, and that's like, okay, it's illegal for me to fly my Mini 4 now. It won't be, by the way. I just want to make sure everybody understands that it will not be. They could do something like go get a Roku, not a Roku. That's the sound machine. One of the other cheaper drones.
Hollystone,
Hollystone, Hubsan, those guys. Although they are also Chinese, so DJI falls, Autel falls, not Roku, the other one. Then Hubsan, then
Skydio.
it's domino. Exactly. You would be stuck with Parrot to fly, which isn't horrible. They're how can I say this nicely? They are capable drones for recreational flight.
I'm
But,
glad you worded it like that.
Yeah, trying real hard to be nice today after yesterday morning.
No.
But yeah, so I mean, it would affect us immensely. One, it's we're by the end of the decade we're supposed to be a $28 billion company. I wish industry. Yeah, that's my bottom line. $28 billion. No, $28 billion industry by the end of the decade. So that would just chop the legs right off of there. It would kill the tax base. So yeah, I'm sorry if you get me started, and I won't stop. So interrupt.
No, don't worry.
I
finally got a question in the chat for you.
Oh, cool. I'm not watching. I don't see the chat. So
how realistic do you think it is? Hold on. How realistic did he think it is to think there will ever be an American drone manufacturer to compete with DJI here in the United States?
What's your time frame? I think realistically, the American know-how, American ability, I really honestly think we're the best in the world. But what happens is, we can't source Chinese parts. So is it possible? Absolutely. But we do not have the manufacturing capability to produce. We don't have the chipset. We don't have any way to produce chips. So we have to have that chipset secure supply chain. Now there's the big Taiwanese semiconductor chip, whatever their company is, building a monster facility in Phoenix. Is supposed to come online middle of 2025.
Right. I heard that.
So that's helpful. But how many, those aren't going to all go to drones. It's not like, okay, every chip comes out of that factory has to go to a drone. I mean, it's going to be, drones are probably pretty far down the list on stuff. Do we have the capability? Yes. Do we have it now? No. I think if we can relax some things, like let's import chips, let's import parts from China, because we can make them whatever, so they can't send stuff back. I mean, that's their argument anyway. I think that we have the ability to do it, not at scale, but if we could build some decent drones, that's going to be a Mavic 3 Pro, maybe not a Mini 4, but something along those lines. 5, 6, 7 years, if we're lucky, if we can relax some of the rules about supply chain security.
Right. I have a question. So hold on a second for Lawrence. So what you're saying, Vic, is that we have to create, and I've told this to Lawrence before, we have to create the ecosystem to make something like this happen.
Bingo.
Okay.
If we had a drone ready to go right now that would compete with DJI or Autel at the prosumer level, we could not build it. We could not build it at scale to supply it. Yeah, not 5 years from now. Yeah.
But quick question, Vic, and this is personally, and someone kind of made a statement. I'm turning it into a question in the chat. But do you think that this particular ban will drive people more towards FPV, where you build your own drone, you put in your own remote control, and you're compliant? And
as long as you're not using,
this is where we're headed?
No. Let me tell you why. Because most of the drones that people use right now are not FPV drones. I have a couple of FPV drones. I suck rocks at flying them.
True, but
so you don't ever want me to fly your FPV drone. But you're also going to have Chinese parts in the FPV drones. Your ESC is going to be from China. If you're using DJI, what's their 04 or whatever it's called? That's from China. So I don't think it will drive it. Maybe on the margin, it might get people to be more interested in it. But no, FPV drones and the prosumer Autel and DJIs aren't compatible. Aren't comparable.
Well, people in the chat are saying, yes, we can make our own parts. Well, like Vic mentioned, there's a factory, new chip factory that's supposed to go online on the West Coast very soon. Let's see.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah. We can make them. That's not a problem. We can make them. If you want to make 5, 10, 50, 100, you can make them. If you want to make 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 a month, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't. We physically do not have the ability to do it in this country. It just flat out doesn't exist.
Nope. And then even at the price of what it costs to make them out of what we can produce, what would it cost?
That's a good question. I have no idea, but it will cost more. But, and
Definitely
I've heard
will.
this from many, many pilots. It's like, let's say we pay 25% more, maybe 50% more for a comparable drone. If I can buy an American drone that'll compete with my Mavic 3 Pro for 50% more, I'm there. I'll buy it.
Right. There's
It's got to
nothing out
compete.
there.
There's nothing out there.
So if you and I'm all with you on this, Vic, because if I had an option to buy an American drone, right, that
Mhm.
interface on the control and everything was as easy as DJI, and the drone operated as smooth as DJI, and it had the
And
camera
reliable.
capability, and yeah, and it was reliable, like, and everything was as smoothly, and the operating was just as cool, and it was going to cost me 25% more what I paid for it. Probably,
I
yes,
would. I
yes,
would.
yes,
Yeah. And
because
most pilots would. Drone pilots, I should say.
right, but I would, because I would be supporting the country and an American company. But what I'm saying to you is that there's a lot of other factors involved why we don't have that. Not even if we had the ecosystem, you know, we've adapted a whole lot of other things that we don't have the time nor the energy to get into. Nor do we have some of the experts here on those subjects that we'll branch off into talk about.
Rabbit trails. I like rabbit trails.
Yeah, because that's what it'll do. But yeah,
Well, we do have a chip company here. Where is NVIDIA from? Isn't NVIDIA here in the
NVIDIA's
States?
I thought that was Japanese,
yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay,
Japanese. But when you start
but they're
talking,
not Chinese, so that's okay, right?
well,
No,
when
no,
you
I'm not. I didn't mean that flippant. That sounded like it was flippant. I didn't mean that.
but when
But
you
they're
start
not. They're
getting,
not Chinese.
yeah,
True,
Intel is
true.
based here, so the
My thing is, okay, we as a country know we are not ready to enter the drone world other than through an eVTOL
Yeah,
commercially.
there are
Um,
some good American drones out there. So let me.
yes,
I want.
yes,
There are good ones,
yes,
and there are some, but they're big and they're expensive. They're the
yes.
big guys. They're the big boys and the big toys.
Hmm.
It's the 98% of the rest of us that don't have access to a drone like
yeah,
that.
You're right. And like you said, would it be worth the investment? Okay, I spent 1,700 for a Mavic 3. In order to get a Mavic 3 class drone, I probably would have to double that at a
Oh yeah,
minimum.
right now.
At a minimum.
Hmm.
So the way I see it here in the States, Vic, there are no companies or anyone that could develop a drone within the next 2 to 3 years. If we
Nope.
no,
started tomorrow,
Nope.
nobody could have a drone ready and drawn up that could compare to a DJI drone. So what
No.
do? Our hands are tied.
Our hands are tied. And things we can do is let's supplement. Let's give grants. Let's give tax breaks to these American companies, but let's hold their feet to the fire. There is a company out there that puts out a blue drone, or used to, that got a lot of DoD money, and they didn't. They should have been required to turn that and all their other stuff into R&D instead of lobbying in DC and lobbying in the state, spending $15,000 a month in your state
mhm,
um, to lobby. And
right,
DJI is like, oh, everybody, you're spending millions in lobbying. It's like, no, that I know of anyway. I'm not a DJI
Yeah.
employee. I don't get any money from DJI. Um, but so what if they are? So is everybody else. That's sort of how the American politics work. So why can't a company that is being attacked on Capitol Hill fight back?
Right.
Chinese
No,
company, American company, Israeli, Canadian,
mhm.
Ugandan. I mean, I don't care if they're being attacked. They should be allowed to fight back.
true. This is true. There's someone in
Right.
the chat wants to say, Sky Controller he's in Hawaii. So do the people who make, and I wondered this as well, do the people who make the laws against DJI, have they ever flown drones or seen applications of them? Seems like
No idea.
anything from China is Seems like anything from China is bad. Well, if
Oh
it
yeah.
starts with China, like Vic said, it could go to Italy, France, the UK, wherever. If they decide we don't want your stuff coming into the States, we can do it now.
Well, there's the foreign. It's not like they can't just be arbitrary because you do have to be on the list, the foreign adversary list, which
Yeah.
but China is on it. But the funny thing is, you look at these bills, they list China, Russia, Argentina, and Iran. It's like, yeah, the thriving Argentinian and Iranian drone market. I mean, they're not allowed in here either. So it's like this,
Yeah.
you guys can put all the lists you want in there, but you know darn well this is an anti-DJI bill. Period. End of discussion.
Right, because if you notice in a lot of the articles, they mention DJI. They specifically meant, they don't say, now we know Autel is also
They want to
Chinese.
talk about who we know.
Right.
Called name dropping.
Skydio.
A few people do that. Yep.
No,
Yeah,
but
Skydio.
Vic, what I want to know is that, you know, all of this stuff about the cybersecurity, and it amazed me because we're on LinkedIn, and I clicked on the LinkedIn, and I saw this clip on your post on your profile with this guy that was saying that DJI drones.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, with the facial recognition and the heart rates and stuff like that. And guys refer to my drones as paperweights. I'm like, you guys can read my heart rate and my facial rate. You know, when I come home.
Greg Reverdio had the best comment to that when he and I were talking about that afterwards. He goes, "Where is the update that can make my drone see my heartbeat? It would save a doctor's visit."
It would.
It's lies. That's just it. DC lies. And that quote that guy used, who on my LinkedIn channel or on my LinkedIn support, that came directly from Brendan Carr, the FCC Brendan Carr, not the drone pilot Brendan Carr. And so Brendan Carr flat out made it up. Now I'm calling him out on it. If he would like to supply some evidence otherwise, can we have? Is software out there for facial recognition? Yes. Has anybody been to the airport lately? Has anybody walked down New York streets lately with all the cameras? That's facial recognition. Is there software out there that can visually see your heart rate? Yeah, probably. Now, can it go? It doesn't go to it does see it, but DJI doesn't do that. It does not do that. Period. End of discussion. You are lying about it.
It's funny you mentioned that because I just came back into the country the other day, and customs, I don't have to show my passport anymore.
No, they know you.
I was like, wow. They just took I came through and took my picture, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, that's you.
Yeah. They know who you are.
They used a DJI drone. Didn't you know that?
This is crazy. Yeah. They had the DJI camera right there. The guy was standing there with a pocket.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Pocket 4. That's the latest update.
It's a few people have made statements in the chat, and I wish this were that perfect utopia. For example, this is our politicians should be encouraging it in any way they can. American-made technology, pharmaceuticals, etc., instead of trying to ban tools that are benefiting us. Well, it's like this. You don't think about shit until you step in it.
Good way to put it.
And Herman said that to me, and it stuck in my head because you really don't. So if you're a politician and you hear, oh, we're going to stop drones from flying in New York, and you're a friend of mine, Vic, and you're a friend of mine, Herman, I can get you guys to sign that petition with me. Right there, I have to. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. We know nothing about drones, but we're willing to sign it to help out a fellow politician in New York or wherever.
Yep. That's how it works, and that's what's problem with. Well, it's actually I printed out yesterday. Where's my cheat sheet? Here it is. The Countering CCP Drone Act has 6 co-sponsors, and if this is one of your representatives, please reach out to us. Stefanik, we already talked about Gallagher, Corey, Guest, Moulinar, and Williams. They're all co-sponsors for that. Now, again, CCP is not going anywhere.
Right.
First of all, I want to get on a soapbox a minute. Sorry. It's called the Countering CCP Drones Act. CCP stands for Chinese Communist Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chinese Communist Party doesn't make drones.
I know.
So who are we trying to get rid of there? There's no CCP drones. Well, I take it back. They probably do, but they're the $1 million drones that the military flies. And then ASDA, which is actually did pass in December, that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people. That's their co-sponsors on it. So, but that's passed. That's part of the National Defense Authorization Act. So we're kind of stuck with that for now. But we have plans for that too.
So
But the NDAA,
right
or not the NDAA, I'm sorry, the CCCPDA is not going to happen. But we need to make sure something like it doesn't sneak into a markup somewhere else down the road.
Well, they're going to keep trying to push it and push it and keep pushing and pushing.
I think so. Maybe not in this particular one, in this particular iteration, simply because it's just not going anywhere. Even Congress critters. Let's use Congress critters. If they're not smart enough, they do have people on their staff that are smart. It's like, let's not waste time on this anymore. It's just not happening. But again, what they could do is they could sneak it in as an amendment, like they did with the American Security Drone Act for the National Defense Authorization Act in December.
Well, also too, but when you have like the lobbyists that push for these things, certain guys can buy time to where they can actually create enough money that where the check speed enough for somebody else jump on board and say, yeah, these Chinese drones,
Yep, and that's what we're seeing from some American drone manufacturers, who I shall not name. I've named them enough. I want to give them any more press.
That is the next.
I'm not saying that, you are.
But that's I said it. I said it purposely with intention.
I do want to give Skydio some credit here. Most of you probably know I flew for the National Park Service here in Colorado at Mesa Verde National Park. They would not let me fly a drone, my Mavics. And so Skydio did send me a couple drones to fly for free, and I sent them back. I mean, they didn't give them to me, so I will give them credit for they did help out in that. But it was a hard decision when I finally said yes. I talked with my business partner about that, and he goes, "Well, the overall good is National Park Service might open things up for commercial operations, so we'll just take a little bit of good, a little bit of bad."
Okay.
In the commercial right now, until it's written into law, Vic. Herman said this earlier, and I'm going to have to agree with him. Guys, fly your damn drones. Fly, have fun. Stop acting like tomorrow's the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what Stefanik is trying to do is spread fear. And it's worked. It's worked. Yeah. I mean, I've been talking about this for 5 weeks. It's been consuming me for 5 weeks. I actually am waking up in the middle of the night thinking about it. It's sad. And it's worked in the industry. I don't know how many times in my forums I've reached out and people have said, well, should I buy a DJI drone? If DJI came with a Mavic 4 Pro right now, I'd go buy it. Not even thinking quite well. My wife, I'd have to ask my wife. But it's she's part of the business too. She's part of the business too. So, I would not hesitate buying a DJI drone. Matter of fact, as soon as I get my new waiver, I'll probably get rid of my Mini 3 Pro and just go with 2 Mini 4 Pros.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, technically, guys, keep flying the drone. Stop saying that. Stop enjoying it. I mean, I'm still flying. I'm still doing it for work. I'm doing it recreationally. You get whatever permits you need, get whatever air authorization you need to relax. Do what you have to do. Just freaking fly. Stop being old ladies and the sky is falling. The sky is when it falls. Worry about it then.
Well, it's that you're hearing so much about it, and that's all. I think that's all they wanted to do. Stefanik and the other Gallagher and Corey and Guest and Molinard and Williams, they wanted to seed some fear and see where it went, and it worked. I mean, I'm probably just as guilty about talking about this but I'm trying to talk it down rather than talk it up, and others like me, not just me. But it's everybody's thinking about it, so it's worked. It's worked, and we need to do things like what you said. Go fly your drones.
You want to know what? In the long run, and I'm being honest about this, Vic and Herman, I don't think it'll get as far as they wanted to. And the perfect example, Vic, is Herman and I got a chance to fly at a brand new park. We flew in this park before the park was built. And the guy was like, hey, you guys fly drones. We came back, we hung out with him and flew drones from this park, around the supervisors, all of this. But to make a long story short, to show how they fearmonger in the drone community, a lady who's a Parks Department employee, literally, she's just sweeping and cleaning up the park, saw us pulling our drones out. And she went, I don't know what they told her, but she was adamant. Oh no, you cannot fly your drones here. You remember, Herman? They will come and confiscate your drone. And we were like, that's not true. And she said, okay, but be warned, they kick people out of here for flying drones, blah, blah, blah. It's all fear mongering, like you said, for now.
A lot of it is. And New York City for a while, and maybe they still do, y'all can tell me this. Don't they have somewhere on their website, if you see a drone, call 911?
Yes, yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
well, see, Vic, 'cause I don't want to. I want to.
You're flustered.
No, not that I'm flustered, because I've been looking at this from many different angles to try to make sense of where this attack keeps coming from. The Chinese drones. Is it because we want to hurt the Chinese companies, slow them down a little bit so the American companies can catch up? Or is it that we want to eliminate them, period? And why I say that is because, and we mentioned this earlier, all of the companies that made consumer-based drones are now doing stuff on the government side. It's DJI and Autel. Let's just face it. Everything else is toy grade and garbage.
Adequate hobby drones.
Exactly. Oh, I like that.
You can write that one down. Just give me credit. Just give me credit.
Adequate
hobby
drones. All right, I got that. I like that. Like that. Adequate hobby drones. Yeah. So anyway, so now we look at that with DJI, right? And they're now coming at DJI the way they are. Is this because they don't want the consumer to have this type of technology?
No, they want, it's all about anti-China.
That often floated around in my head too, because I said that there's nobody else, if you eliminate these guys, that's making consumer-based drones at that level. So
they don't think that long range. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well,
the legislators don't think that long range. They see
thank you for telling me that, because I thought that a long time ago, because I always felt it like they were always Band-Aid people, not people who would figure out, if you stop falling down over there, you wouldn't need a band to keep needing a Band-Aid on your knee.
That's very true. This all really can harken back, I'm going to say, about a decade or so, when China and the United States, we're adversaries. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. And Congress and a certain administration wanted to punish China in certain ways. They wanted to punish China economically. And so they did all kinds of different things. And there was some good, Huawei, whatever that phone company or whatever, they had some spy stuff in there. Yeah, that one. So that was legitimate. I get that. But then they saw DJI coming in and just dominating the market. So they saw that as a good target. It's like, hey, let's go after them. So we pay 20 to 25% more per drone because of tariffs. If you go to Canada and buy the same drone that we buy here, it's cheaper.
Wow.
Well, Vic, someone mentioned something in the chat as well. Someone mentioned something in the chat as well, and I would tend, this may be part of it also. It's a distraction. It's election year. During election year, there is more crap going around, people getting arrested, picked people. Election year is crazy.
Yep. I think the Countering CCP Drone Act is probably an election year issue. The ASDA, so the American Security Drone Act that was in the NDA in December, I don't think that's an election year thing. I think, it's still political, but I don't think it's an election year thing. All the 11 states we're seeing right now with the anti-China stuff, that's an election year thing. That's an election year thing. So yeah, you're right. A lot of it is election year noise.
Yeah, yeah. Jeff Norman had mentioned it in the chat. He had just
Hey, Jeff.
mentioned they want to get reelected for stirring up emotions. And I just added to the fact it's a distraction.
It's a distraction. And you're stirring up the wrong emotions, by the way.
Distractions. A lot of stuff is distractions, but I think that where this keeps coming up, and it's going to keep coming up and keep coming up until, like they mentioned that the whole cybersecurity, like, where is the proof that all of this stuff is going back to China?
There isn't any. I want to address that. Okay, I want to stay on the subject for just a second, if I may, because this is my soapbox, folks. You've started me up. It is all about cybersecurity. I don't know how many of you all here watched the webinar, the ABSI webinar yesterday morning we were on. Myself, Kyle Nordford's. There's Virginia State. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. AJ or CJ, Virginia State cop, and then 3 other people from ABSI and others.
Okay.
It's all about cybersecurity. It should be. Let me rephrase that. It should be all about cybersecurity. They're saying, hey, you know what? China can send stuff back. Hey, first of all, it's an opt-in situation with DJI. Nothing gets sent back automatically to DJI. Right. You have to say, yes, I want to send my flight logs. And that's all you get, maybe a thumbnail. But on the guy who was in Capitol Hill two weeks ago, and then again last night or yesterday morning, they say that we're sending high resolution images. You and all 3 of us are photographers, right? Videographers. Mm-hmm. How big of a file do you have to send clients if they want high res imagery? And they're saying it just happens while the drone's flying in the air. It just doesn't. But let's say it does. Let's play their little game. Let's say, yes, okay, we're sending high resolution images of my backyard to China. So what do we do about it? We set up cybersecurity protocols.
Right.
We sit down, and I said this in the webinar. This is not something that's take forever. I say this about a lot of different things. But if you put 10 politicians in a Super 8 hotel and feed them nothing but microwave burritos and water until they come out, they're going to get that bill written in a week. I promise you that. So that's what we need to do. Instead of the Capitol cafeteria, I just had a thought. Nothing but microwave burritos. But if that gets done and you set up cybersecurity protocols and then apply them across the board, apply them to the US manufacturers, apply them to the French manufacturers, apply them to the Japanese and the Chinese manufacturers, when you're flying in sensitive areas only.
Right.
I love to use the example. Okay, I mentioned I flew for National Park Service, and I couldn't fly my Skydio. I don't have a Skydio. I couldn't fly my Mavic. But in November, I was in Washington, D.C. with a film crew flying drones. Guess what I flew? DJI. Guess what a whole film crew flew? DJI. So you're telling me my 800-year-old ruins in my southwest corner of my state are a security issue, and then Washington, D.C. is not? No. Washington, D.C. and Las Vegas are the 2 most secure airspaces in the country, both of which we fly DJI drones in. So let's establish what needs security, not just everything, not every DOI property, every DoD property probably, and then set up those protocols and apply them across the board. You have to be air gapped. You cannot be set up on the internet when you're flying. You cannot reestablish communication with the internet until you dump your flight logs.
Okay.
If they would do that in DC, if they would do that in Connecticut and Missouri and New Hampshire and New York and Oklahoma and Illinois and Iowa and Kansas and Utah and Washington and West Virginia, there, I got that list out, then this problem would be done. It would be over. It would be a discussion that has taken place. The solution's been found, the solution's been applied, and we can move on.
Well, I agree. That's sort of like what Lawrence and I were talking about earlier with a police department in Texas there in Houston that were taking those precautions to be able to continue to use the DJI.
Lots of them do it. Kyle Nordford is in Utah. He was on the webinar yesterday. He flew with a Army unit, I shall say, and he flew drones. He flew DJI drones, and he said, "This is what I can do. I can air gap it, make sure the flight logs are all deleted next time before we even leave the site, and They went, cool, go for it, do it. It's a DoD site, a DoD shoot, a DoD operation. And they're like, cool, do it. DJI drones.
There's someone put in the chat, I guess Google Maps is okay for spying on someone. Great
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
How
yeah,
many
of
times
course.
do you see a Google Maps car drive by you with the spinning, LiDAR slash whatever they have, and
Whatever
they
that silly
race you
thing.
out of it? But it's the same thing. And they fly up and down every street. Every
Mhm.
day they try their best. They're doing
At least
pretty
once a
good.
year.
They're right.
Yep.
They're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
The pictures are not up to date, they claim, due to terrorist reasons. We understand that.
It's money
but
reasons. They can't afford to.
that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like that's where it is there.
That's what
I'm
needs to be
trying to see
pushed.
if anyone else, huh?
That's what needs to be pushed. The cybersecurity, that's what needs to be pushed. If that was pushed and that was done correctly, this is a non-issue moving forward. Non-issue.
I agree. But who do you speak to concerning cybersecurity?
DHS.
Whose ear can you get into?
Oh, it would have to be Congress, yeah. And that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
That's what we need to push. And maybe that's what we'll do with DAA. I don't know. Maybe that's what we'll do with DSPA. I don't know.
Here's a question. Do we have any informed politicians on our side that actually stand up for us?
Do we have any informed politicians in DC? Sorry, couldn't resist. Yes, I think we do have some that will work with us. It's just getting to them, getting in front of them, and getting the majority to understand this. I have not been called to Capitol Hill. I will do it tomorrow. I'll get on a plane. I'll drive. I don't care. If they're, if they're going to have a testimony, I would love to get in front of these people and just explain the situation to them and say, look, how many of you have flown drones? You all made a great point. How many of you have seen a drone? How many of you held one in your hands? How many of you have seen the data we collect? Where is it critical?
Here's one, and this is just here's one, and it's kind of jokingly, but how do I get my roof designated sensitive infrastructure so I stop getting ads from roofing companies who fly planes?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I got to quit getting those kind of ads on Facebook. I spend half of Facebook time clicking that little X in the upper right corner of the ad. Go away, go away, go away, go away, go away.
Roofing ads?
What happened, Herman?
For roofing ads?
Yeah.
Oh, all kinds of ads.
Oh.
Well, now that we've established, Vic, that they're going to go ahead with this, how much time do you think
they're not going to go ahead with the County CCP Drone Act? It will not happen. We just have to watch to make sure they don't slide it in.
Hey, Lance.
First, they're not going ahead with it.
Yeah, CCCP, DS, whatever, is not moving ahead. It will not go anywhere. We just need to make sure some iteration or some part of it doesn't get snuck in during the bill markup in committee.
And how do
they have a committee meeting, they say, okay, slide this one here, slide this in here, slide this in here. And we need to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's actually an easier fight, because all you got to do is reach out to the committee members with your opinion.
Okay.
But how do we stay on top of these things?
Join the droneadvocacyalliance.com. So which side? Here it is. Drone advocacy. Oh, this thing's in the way. Anyway, droneadvocacyalliance.com. We are watching that. We're watching. That's the DAA is the arm of the advocacy group that's kind of watching the anti-China stuff. The DSPA, which is this stuff. We're just kind of doing all kinds of fun stuff with the cities and counties and states and stuff like that. But yeah, if you go to droneadvocacyalliance.com and sign up.
I'm pulling it up now so I can put it in the chat.
Oh,
I am right here.
You got it.
Got it. Give me
droneadvocacyalliance.com, or reach out to me, Vic at dspalliance.com, and I can put you in the right direction.
Yeah,
if you can't find my email, you have no idea how to use the internet.
I got it in the chat, Vic. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
I actually should have had that loaded up, but
no worries.
That's funny.
Sometimes I'm lucky I don't have to add a piece of bubble gum to this computer screen here. Some days things work, some days they don't.
Is that bad over there, Lars?
I don't know, man. Vic, I just have my computer work going, and always when I need to do a project right now, it's got to be done. It's got to be emailed out. I got to do it right now. My computer starts effing up.
Oh no.
And then when I'm getting ready to do simple stuff like check my email, computer's fine. But when I have a deadline, it's like someone flicks the switch.
Yep. I've been lucky with computers. The one I've got now, which is an incredibly nice, very expensive computer laptop, it did crashed on me once. This is the first time I've had a computer crash in 10 years. I was not happy.
Oh, and, Herman, Warren says, add that to the description, this link here. I have it here.
That'd be awesome.
If you're not on LinkedIn, you should be. Add Vic Moss on LinkedIn.
Somebody reached out to me just a bit ago. That was awesome.
Huh?
Somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, so-and-so wants to connect." Cool. Yeah, I'm not on LinkedIn as much as I should be, but I am on it a lot more than I used to be, just simply because of all the legislative and the regulatory stuff that we're dealing with right now.
Right, but that video that you posted with him lying, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Can I meet with him for 5 minutes somewhere?
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, exactly.
And the funny thing is, all kinds of people shared that post on LinkedIn, and that guy, I can't remember his name, which is sad, reached out to everybody else. He never reached out to me.
Well, so someone in the chat says,
I spoke to him a couple of times.
Oh, awesome.
We appreciate everything you do, Vic. You are an inspiration, and thanks in the chat. People do appreciate you, and we wanted to let you know that people appreciate you, what you do, because if you don't say something about it, it seems no one else.
Oh no, well, there's lots of us. We have Kyle Nordfirst, we have Greg Reverdio. He and I work together a lot on this kind of stuff. Kyle and then John McBride and I are actually going to put out a video probably in the next week or so, and Greg.
Okay.
Is basically we're just going to have a matter of fact. This is what they say, and this is the actual truth. And that way, there's something out there that people can, their legislator says
they can compare
China bad, America good, and we want something to be able to point them. We'll have facts. We'll have solutions rather than just a ban. So that's what we're going to do. We're in the process of getting that all fixed up now, and we'll get that out probably in about 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll push that out to you
know
guys.
that anytime you'd like to come on and let us know what you're doing. I know you're very busy, but every time you get a chance to come on here, we appreciate it, because we can.
You guys have something come up, just let me know.
Okay.
I'm happy to.
Well, for you guys in what's that, in Pennsylvania, you got this gentleman, Jared Coleman. You could write him, on Pennsylvania. I believe he's in Pennsylvania because he's helping,
the national guy, got it.
Yeah, because he's helping the guy with that issue with the trying to change the legislation about the being able to look for your deers, the wounded.
Your post-harvest deer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's such an awesome use. Former hunter myself, so a little prejudiced, but it's a great way to not waste game.
Right.
Or if you've got a wounded animal, it's if you can find that wounded animal, put out of its misery, that's a phenomenal use of drones.
Yeah, but the way they set up a sting.
Oh, that was horrible. I read that today.
He went out there literally thinking that he was going to help a hunter, and then they have a gaming department run up on him.
Yep,
that was not cool.
No,
that was not cool.
Well,
not cool at all.
Do what they got to do it, and they are allowed to do it.
This is true.
You've got a few states. Iowa has a bill right now. I talked to somebody about it today that is actually being written into the regulations. Like, you are allowed to use thermals for the most part, but you're allowed to use drones to find that animal, the wounded animal. You shot it and it went off and died somewhere. You can use a drone to find that, so nothing gets wasted, and it's humane.
Vic, what I had asked you before about, and I told you about the 2 different things that was going through my head about this type of stuff that was going on with the drone thing, is that when I look at like places here in New York, and they implemented something where we have to pay, and the bottom line is that people look at it as
$150 non-refundable.
Right. Fee per flight. So that pretty much would hurt someone who's a hobbyist,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
They don't. Well, New York, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. New York's permit process is basically a codified no-fly zone permit. They make it so difficult. You have to have all this insurance, all this notification. You get, you might not know until 48 hours before your flight whether or not you can fly.
True.
So they make it just about, it's almost pointless. It's like, well, yeah, we'll allow drones, but you have to follow all these rules. And oh, by the way, 48 hours after you've spent all these thousands of dollars on the post-production and pre-production, you're not going to get the approval. And again, like you said, hobbyists, no, they don't want hobbyists flying in New York City. To a point, I understand that, but not that. No, not that way. Not that way. You should have a hobby. You should have a designated areas and a hobby. A recreational operator. And the recreational operators, some of them are a lot better than some 107 operators when it comes to flying ability.
Vic, you do know that 9 out of 10 people that hit skyscrapers on the island of Manhattan here in New York City are tourists.
Like with their drones or just in general?
With drones.
Okay.
There are incidents with
oh, I didn't know that was there. Yeah,
there are incidents here in New York where a guy said, but the people here, there's no flying in New York. And when we had a DJI store here in Manhattan,
yep, I know Peter real well.
People would come in, buy a DJI drone, fly it, lose it in a skyscraper, or return it, and everything was okay. But 9 out of 10 people who do hit skyscrapers here in New York City, I have not once in the 7-8 years I've been flying a drone heard of a New Yorker hitting a skyscraper.
Yep.
Now, have I heard of New Yorkers? I do know one New Yorker that hit a building in Brooklyn.
Okay.
But he turns his sensors off.
Okay, still hit the building.
Yeah.
I have to fly with my sensors off because I fly so close to stuff.
But it wasn't in Manhattan. It was not in Manhattan. And it was many years ago. It was at least 5 years ago that this individual did that. Yes, it is a money grab, Warren. There are thousands of hobbyists that are just as safe, if not safer, than some 107 pilots. I witnessed that firsthand.
Understandable, but that's not. But the argument lies where is that? What are you trying to do actually? Like,
correction! They just opened a DJI store on Fifth Avenue near Rockefeller Center.
Because at $150 per flight, 30-day application process means that you have no avenue to daily operations.
Right. Correct.
Right.
If you had
that's bad.
Had you created a permit system that I had to pay a yearly fee or a monthly fee or a 6-month fee, then I'm all with you on that.
Right.
But you came out with something that cripples operations.
Yep.
It does. And guess who takes that price, that additional $150 on? Our clients do. Because if Herman and I have to go to a site 2 days out of the week, we have to plan that far ahead. But I did hear of an incident here in New York where a gentleman was supposed to fly in Manhattan, and the FAA or whoever it was to give him the authorization, he had said something about the FAA had got back to him and said he wasn't authorized to fly on the day he wanted, but they okayed him to fly the day after. And in reality, when he put in the application, he put it in for the day after. No, so it's kind of twisted, but there's so much you have to go through, Vic, to be able to fly here, in the city. And can it work? It works, but there's a lot of bull you got to go through. There's a lot of hoops you got to jump through, like a puppy. You don't jump through that hoop on fire. I guess you don't get that.
I like that. Fly through that hoop on fire.
But I'm afraid that with excuse me, you all right?
I have a cold.
Legislating stuff like beyond visual line of sight, that things get misinterpreted, and you got guys now flying beyond visual line of sight, way out into beyond the wild blue yonder, outside of these fields that they're allowed to fly in, the 100 by 100 foot field.
And Jeff, Jeff just put in the chat, you can get a 107 without 1 minute of actual flight experience.
Which
Dun,
I'm
dun,
fine with.
dun.
I am fine with that. And let me tell you why, because I am not a fan of barrier to entries when it comes to business. What is the 107 for? The 107 is so you know the rules. It's not a practical. It's not a, hey, I now know how to fly a drone. No, now you know how to safely and legally fly. Well, you know how to legally fly a drone. The 107 is the first step in learning how to fly a drone safely. And that, I think that's not pushed off enough. No, I do not want a practical when it comes to 107.
No, I have said the same thing. I've always said the same thing.
Yep, and I know John McBride and I were on a panel last summer together, and that was one of the questions: should 107 be a practical? And I said no, and he said yes. So it was great. I love John. I love working with John. He's a great guy. You know, we disagree on that, but we're still good friends. So maybe there's a lesson in there somewhere.
So real quick, Vic,
Yeah.
Before we run out of time,
Oh,
we
it's
got about
almost
4
5 o'clock.
minutes
Holy
left.
moly.
We got like 4 minutes left. What are you do? Anything you're doing in the future? What are you working on? What do you have set
am I
up?
working
What's
on?
coming up?
Speaking of BB loss, I'm working on a BB loss waiver.
Mhm.
That's gonna be a 2-mile BB loss waiver. So we'll see how that goes. Still waiting to hear about the ops over people waiver. They're redoing some of the application policies, so they have to go through a process with that. And once that happens, a lot of people will be able to fly safely over ops over people with the right drone, not just anywhere, anytime. I mean, and I'm just kind of trying to keep my eye on things going on in DC and these other states, and eventually I have to actually start working for a living because I don't get paid to do any of this other stuff. It's all pro bono, so I got to keep my
I hear you.
mortgage company happy.
Right.
But no, it's got some fun stuff coming up. Just I love what I do, so every day's a good day.
Well, I just wanted to ask you before we get out of here, that to let everyone know where and how they can fight back once again. You had mentioned once before that they can write to or go online to
The Drone Advocacy Alliance, so droneadvocacyalliance.com. We have a take action tab, so you click on that, and I think there's 5 different particular bills right now that you just type in your address, and you can either fill it out, or it's pre-formatted and it'll send to your representative. Also have some states. We have one state right now. I think Arizona is one of the ones that DAA is working on, and you can just sign up and ask. We send out emails. You can join our email list and get information that way. And just keep an eye on the forums. My forum and Facebook is the Commercial Drone Pilots Group on Facebook. We push a lot of that stuff out here.
Okay. So you guys make sure you check out Vic on check out the descriptions below in the description part on
There you go. Yeah.
Check the descriptions below, and you'll be
right
able
on there.
You'll be able to get in touch with Vic. Vic Moss, and if you want to check out Lawrence and I, anything we post on Instagram or wherever, those are also listed down there. If you're interested,
Yeah, if you want to see what we're really doing, that what we don't advertise, we kind of push a little bit of our stuff on LinkedIn more than we put anywhere else. And then we also have to get permission to show certain stuff from clients, etc.
Yeah.
You know that as well.
So that's why you don't see much of it. But
I had to fly. I flew Denver International Airport about a month ago now, almost. I flew through the terminal, and there was a whole lot of boxes to take.
That must have been fun.
That was fun. That was fun.
I want to see some footy, man.
Okay, I have to work on it still. No, I take that back. You go to my Vimeo channel. My Vimeo channel, I think, has clips on it.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you all. Is anything you guys want to say before we get out of here? It's that time.
Fly safe.
Herman?
Well, with that, I was just want to say we appreciate you all for coming and hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
With Sky.
Later.
Good night, everyone.
We appreciate you all.